The Disability Rights Advocates logo on a black screen. It has a yellow arc and bold letters. Rebecca Williford is the president and CEO of DRA. She sits in the New York DRA office with colorful artwork and flowers in the background.
When I became a wheelchair user, I was really surprised to learn how many aspects of society weren't accessible to the disability community.
Board member, actor, and musician James Ian.
Disability has been hard to navigate as an artist because there is so much ableism in both acting and the music space, and there are just not a lot of opportunities for disabled people.
Olivia Amalal is a DRA client. She sits outside in her power chair in a Los Angeles park.
My niece's birthday was a few miles from here, but we had gone into planning for weeks and weeks and weeks to get the party ready, but no one thought to see if the park was accessible. And that's your family. So when the government is like hands off and not addressing needs for people so we can have equal access to these public lands, it's frustrating. It can be really saddening and depressing.
Maureen Hennigan is a blind woman and DRA client. She sits in an office with a large window behind her.
I was hit by a car. I was crossing a pretty busy intersection. I thought I had enough time to get across, but apparently I was wrong about that.
Rebecca.
So many of the barriers that exist across this country for people with all types of disabilities are never going to be changed unless a lawsuit is filed, unless there is a court order telling an entity that they have to remove barriers for people with disabilities. DRA is the legal arm of the disability rights movement, and we exist to move mountains for the disability community. At DRA, we serve people with all types of disabilities, so everything from mobility disabilities to mental health disabilities, people who are deaf, hard of hearing, blind. More than half of our clients are people of color, as well as low income. DRA was founded shortly after the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed more than 30 years ago.
A split-screen image of the cities of Berkeley, Chicago, and New York.
And today, I'm so proud that DRA has offices in Berkeley, in Chicago, and in New York City.
An image of the New York City skyline with the text, New York. Monica Bartley is a DRA client. She sits outside in her power chair at the Brooklyn waterfront.
In New York City, I've seen DRA work on cases like voting rights, emergency management, taxi accessibility, curb cuts, and the MTA subway accessibility.
Dustin Jones is a DRA client. He sits outside in his wheelchair at the Brooklyn waterfront.
Working with DRA makes me feel empowered, literally, just by the time I step outside my house. When it's a curb cut that I've come across and it's actually fixed properly, I know that's DRA's work and some of the stuff that I've helped them with.
Monica.
With streets being more accessible, with our polling places being more accessible.
Monica and Dustin sit together outside smiling.
We develop that confidence that we can live like every other New Yorker and participate in the activities of the city.
An image of downtown Chicago with the text, Chicago. Maureen.
For a long time after that, I was really afraid, to, cross streets, because I just kept, having like a flashback of getting hit by the car. DRA really did help change my life. Working with them was just a wonderful experience.
People walk down a Chicago street.
Chicago prides itself on being one of the most walkable cities in the world.
Rachel Weisberg is a DRA supervising attorney. She sits in an office with a large window behind her.
But when we got involved in this case, at the time of the filing, only 1% of signalized intersections had accessible pedestrian signals. A judge agreed with us and found the city of Chicago was in violation of the ADA and other disability rights laws. We won the case.
An aerial image of Los Angeles with the text, Los Angeles. Shauna Parks is DRA's chief litigation officer. She sits in an office.
My ultimate goal is to change the world, right? To make sure that it's fully accessible to all people with disabilities. The Griffin case against the city of Los Angeles is about access to the public park system which is a quintessential public space. It's the one area or one of the central areas where we want to make sure everybody has equal access.
Olivia, who was a plaintiff in Griffin versus Los Angeles, knows firsthand just how important this case is for people with disabilities.
Restrooms not having wheelchair accessibility, or sinks that are accessible, or pathways for us to enter into places like playgrounds. We want to be a part of it. It's meaningful to us. It's more meaningful to us because having a disability restricts you on doing so many things.
A montage of images of DRA supporters, clients, and attorneys. In its mission to continue breaking barriers from the everyday lives of the disability community, DRA needs the generous support of donors like you. Shauna.
The more resources you have, the stronger support you have and the broader base you have, the more creatively and aggressively you can litigate. It enables us to, for example, hire the best experts.
An image of DRA staff smiling.
Make sure we have talented staff. Make sure that we're able to litigate in geographic areas that might be kind of far-flung.
James.
I mean, DRA is doing work that is really, really changing lives for disabled people. I think it's really, really important that people support that work because DRA, you know, they are the boots on the ground getting it done.
Rebecca.
My vision for DRA is a world free from discrimination for the disability community and for equal opportunity for all people with disabilities to be able to live the lives they've imagined for themselves.
Monica.
So far, we have seen so much improvement already. So I like working with DRA because I know they make things happen.
Dustin.
Having DRA in my city is like having Mike Tyson on your side in the fight. So let's make sure that they're around for many, many years to come. And please find it in your heart to donate as much as you possibly can to this great organization. Thank you.
The Disability Rights Advocates logo on a black screen. It has a yellow arc and bold letters. This video was produced by Limitless Laughs Productions, elevating voices, inspiring change. Audio description voiced by Pavar Snipe.